If you think you're up against a housing crisis now, and the chair of a company that said, hey, the best opportunity since the financial crisis to make money off of people in housing is the housing crisis, that's not your guy. That's not the guy that's going to fix the problem.
So Singh, he met with a mom who lives in the area. She rents an apartment. She lives there with her son. And that apartment building was purchased by Brookfield Asset Management. And she says, when that happened, the rent in her building doubled. Now, why is Brookfield important? It's because that is the company that Liberal leader Mark Carney was the chair of before he decided to run for the Liberals. Now, he has cut ties with Brookfield, but Singh's point is that when Carney was in that top executive job, Brookfield made the decision to purchase rental properties to turn a profit. Now, we are in downtown Toronto right now. It is one of the most expensive places to try to rent an apartment. That's if you're lucky enough to find one here. It's also a place known for rent-evictions, where people are kicked out of their apartments so a landlord can do renovations and then jack up the rent.
Jagmeet Singh is going after Mark Carney as a guy who headed up a company that essentially he was a profiteering corporate landlord. And, you know, we also saw allegations from Pierre Poilievre earlier about Mr. Carney's meetings with the Chinese bank and his company getting a $250 million loan, Brookfield, on a financing of a property from the Bank of China. He say it is punctuated with experiences that show he is unworthy of this and riddled with conflicts of interest. How do you think this attack is playing?
So it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the Liberals and the global elite etiquette.
It's almost surreal, isn't it? You know, 10 years ago, $1 million would have got you a castle on a mountain overlooking a valley of gold.
If you look at the timeline, he was advising the Liberal Party on economic matters before going to China to have this meeting with a state-controlled bank about a private business dealing. The whole point the Conservatives are making around potential or perceived conflicts of interest is around him holding both those roles in parallel. So when he is pressed on these matters and on these potential conflicts of interest, he gets very edgy. You can tell he's visibly annoyed by these questions. And especially advising the Liberal government at a time when relations with China were rightly incredibly frosty. We had just come off of the 2-year holding of the two Michaels. We've now since found out that they've executed 4 Canadians. It is fair for Canadians and Conservatives to be asking the question about the nature of his business dealings with a regime and a country that has been actively hostile and murdered Canadian citizens. It is fair to ask that at a time when he's also advising the Liberal Party of Canada on economic matters.
In one of Canada's most unaffordable cities to live, Toronto, is pinning the blame for the housing crisis on corporate landlords and people like Mark Carney.